Hey, my name's 𝖭𝖑𝖋🔵. So, yes, we can't hear. And you know what? It's funny because basically what I was saying is I saw you wave hi, I waved hi back at you, and I thought, boy, I have no idea how to say your name. Are you Polish? I say that with love. You know, Polacks love to have seasons. I say that as an Eastern European myself, but if you're ever going to find a C, a Z, an H, and an R close together, it's the Poles. Well, listen, darlings, listen. We're going to get started tonight. If you were already listening on MSP Waves, hanging out at the radio station, or you were on Theta or Trovo or 𝖊𝖕𝖆𝖆 or wherever you were, then you would have seen that was just Post Up, which is a super cool... post curation show. You can bring your content from anywhere, share it, and, discover new content, find new creators, and also get some eyeballs on your work. It's a good time. It's a lot of fun. But that's done now. Your posts before this, they really, really mattered. Now, they don't matter worth shit. Hi. We're going to do some heavy metal. So, yeah, if you've never been here before, or it's been a while, or you're here, there, or the other, this, that, and the other thing, then let me catch you up with the way that this is going to go. My name is 𝖭𝖑𝖋🔵, and this is Fullforce Radio. And on Fullforce Radio, every Thursday night, right about here, right about now, at this time, wherever you are right now, I gather us all together around the lovely crimson pyre, and we play loud music, we talk shit, and it's a great hangout. So it's something between live radio, live streaming. It's a lot of fun, and sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. You never know what you're going to get unless you show up. So tonight, yes, thank you. Eileen has noted my my four-sided long sleeve. Now, I will say, friends, whether you're just listening or whether you're watching live on one of the streams is no bother. You do what works for you. You do what makes you happy. And then later on, these replays get posted to YouTube and they get shared around, because that's what we do. So I am going to actually do a beep boop and make a hive post. So we're going to do that right now. She's already happening. It has happened. It happened, folks. But the way that I want to kind of start off tonight is, yes, it is colder. Last week was the fun Halloween episode. I was rocking a homemade headpiece. I've still got a bunch of cable ties in my room. Cable ties and long, terrifying scissors. So, just in case you need some ASMR in your ears to terrify you. Yes, that is a thing. And I swear those are Halloween related. But this week, here we are after Halloween. There's a crisp in the air. It's chilly. Fall is falling. And it's a perfect time for heavy metal. Show picks up. And I thought, yep, that's it. It's time to break out the four-sided long sleeves. Hey, Schmoogle! So good to see you, man. I hope you're staying warm since we're talking about being a little cooler. I do not stream live on YouTube anymore. So let me catch up quickly on why. I know a lot of people really liked to watch the live stream over there on YouTube. And I also know that for a lot of people, YouTube is a great place to support creators. Now, obviously, I'm a big Web3 nerd. I'm a big fan of Hive, and I'm also a big fan of decentralized solutions. So you'll find me on Vim TV, which is a Hive-powered solution. You'll also find me on Theta TV, which many of you guys come to hang out from, because Theta is also a super cool decentralized place. And there's a lot of people hanging out over there. 𝖭𝖑𝖋𝖵 is over there. And Otto and many more of you. So, the reason that I bring this up is I do post to YouTube after the fact. But what has happened in the past is YouTube very strongly regulates content. And that's fine. I don't mind. But the problem becomes, I know none of these options work with your shitty internet. I'm sorry. What you probably should be doing in case of saving some bandwidth is going to mspwaves.com, and you can actually just get the audio only stream. But yes, I do know, I fully acknowledge that it kind of stinks. But to make a long story very short, which I'm not good at, the reason that this is because when I stream live to YouTube and I include song content, YouTube immediately hits me with copyright threats. And that's okay, no problem. In fact, most of the monetization, if you don't send me tips or whatever, which please don't feel obligated, or you don't subscribe, any money that gets derived from my videos goes to artists. That works great for me. That's why we fucking share music. But YouTube won't let me go back and edit those videos. Hey, Otto, I was just mentioning you. So YouTube won't let me go back and edit those videos afterwards. And so the problem becomes if I play a song that gets me, can't show the video at all. And this has happened on some of my very best episodes. I'll play a song that for whatever reason, their label says, nope, fuck you. You can't be seen. You cannot. No. And unfortunately, a lot of Motorhead, a lot of Judas Priest, Slipknot, there are certain bands that if you have enough of their music in your live stream, they take it down, and until you cut that piece out, then it will not be seen. Now, the problem is YouTube for a live stream will not let you actually edit. Or if you edit, it will let you edit once. And when you edit once, it triggers all of the other copyright issues. So the problem became, I wouldn't know something was copyright problematic. The video would get taken down. People would look for it. I'd go to edit. And then when I edit it, a new copyright strike would hit and the video would be taken down permanently. And the only way to get the video to go back up would be to delete the video entirely and then re-upload it. So the problem is all of the views, all of the chat, all of the benefits from the live stream get deleted along with that video. So I said, fuck that. Fuck that. And now I just upload it. And the reality is if there is an issue, because I uploaded the video, not live, I can edit it as many times as I want. I don't lose views, I don't get strikes, and I can work around YouTube's shitty draconian practices, but at the same time, I can provide you guys with replays that haven't been neutered. It's ridiculous. Why is a live stream any different than the capabilities for an uploaded video? Who knows? But who cares? This is why YouTube sucks. So I totally understand for those of you who love over there because the content system is better, the algorithm's good, you've got notifications, whatever the case may be. Like for any of the reasons that you like YouTube, you're not wrong. For all of the reasons that we hate YouTube, I am also not wrong. And so where we shake out in the middle is if you are a YouTube enjoyer, unfortunately, that means you're going to have to wait a tiny bit longer. I'm trying to get better at uploading the next day and getting things going the next day. Unfortunately, not quite there yet. So some of the things you can do to help, if anybody, you're de-Googled. Yes, exactly. Donna Garden. Praise be. Hallelujah. And you know what? It's hard. You prefer TikTok. Yeah, I haven't figured out TikTok yet. And I also don't really want to TikTok, but I have reserved my name. One of the things that I'm thinking of and I am looking for, and I've said it before and you guys know it, but let me put this idea in your head. Yeah, exactly. Otto says, fuck you, YouTube. And I say, fuck you, YouTube. But for those of you who like YouTube, not fuck you. You're good. But so before we kind of move into the heavy metal aspect of tonight, I will throw it out there one more time. I have camped my name on places like Instagram, on places like Instagram, TikTok, all of the cool places that I don't like, but obviously that I want to protect my IP. I am indeed looking to pay someone who is willing to kind of take small chunks of videos, or even can just identify them for me. Be like, hey, here's a clip, and I clipped it for you on Twitch. This was the funniest part of the episode. Put it on TikTok or put it on YouTube Shorts, and I'll do that. But I'm looking for someone who can help me kind of take this content that we create all night long, and turn it into, things for all of us with our tiny little smooth brains and our short attention spans. So throw it out there. That's the only thing that we have, we've kind of missed. Jesus is pointing out that I swear a lot. You're right. YouTube doesn't like that either. But you know what? It's the spice of life. When I'm working for Hive, when I'm doing, well, no, I swear at Cyberbuzz too. But when I'm working in my professional life, I have to keep all those little fucks. I have to keep them buried down inside, and I have to hold on to them tightly in the core of my being. But here, amongst friends, amongst buddies, live radio going out to the internet and monetized, tokenized, all of the nonsense that it is, and all you lovelies who come to hang out with me, well, you get all of the fucks. I have many fucks to give, believe it or not. Yeah. And so, yes, I mean, we could totally devolve into the space of, most of us met here on, Hive or a blockchain space. We love heavy metal, but we love self-sovereignty as well. And if you come to Cyberbuzz, we talk about that. We could absolutely get sucked into the giant discussion that is, can you use social media without being horrifically tracked, data spied on, all of the stuff that comes with it? And for a lot of people, they're like, hell yeah, I like those platforms and I don't care. But again, the reality comes down to it's great to be informed and it's great to have choice. And the choice should be you should use the platforms that you want to use. And so the idea is I'm going to pick up my ass and I'm going to drag it to wherever you are and I'm going to play good, loud, heavy metal for you. And we're going to have fun. And, if I could drag my ass far enough and fast enough and we could get this thing going and this show could actually pay for itself, I could hire an editor. And that's kind of where things really take off, is having someone to edit down highlight reels and clips and kind of, do things like zoom in on my face and make a terrible GIF and splash some text across. The stuff that makes videos really fun to watch when they're not live. That'd be amazing. That's how the internet works. And unfortunately, we're all poor here. So now that we've talked about why I'm not streaming live on YouTube, let's stream live to everywhere else. What are we doing tonight, friends? What are we doing tonight? The question is I don't know. Rebecca's here. Hi. Fadi Rebecca is another one of our fabulous theta friends. Here's the deal. Last week was Halloween. We had a lot of fun. We played spooky ghost witch music. And it was great. We definitely didn't summon a demon, right? And then on Halloween, I had quite a few trick-or-treaters. So again, I brought this up and some of you, not in North America, it's just not a thing. You don't care. It's fun. It's cool. You don't actually want to deal with it. And for some of you, Halloween's a big deal. So you're going to go to sleep yourself. I get it. I totally get it. And yeah, daylight savings time is coming. We'll talk a little bit about that and we'll talk about what we're going to do in terms of moving the show or not. Artsy never listens to the show, but she always narrates what she's doing, which is delightful. Did you figure out how to project something and did you take pictures? I did not. I actually experimented with a few shadow casting things, but what I discovered is, unfortunately, from casting from the inside of my house, if you were here last week, I wanted to last minute rig up something to terrify children because I'm a delight that way. What I ended up doing is I was casting some shadows on the window, and I actually had a pretty terrifying one of like somebody standing in the window being like, but what I realized is having my kitchen lit up brilliantly meant you could actually see right into my kitchen and like down my galley kitchen into my house, which I didn't love, to be quite honest. So what I ended up doing instead is hanging up a big piece of spider web shaped lace that I had, shooting a light up from the bottom and then hanging a black curtain behind that. So there was a little bit of depth. The window was bright enough, but nobody could see my shit. It was not that exciting, but next year, believe you me, we're going down the projection path next year. Absolutely. And I might even do something ridiculous like my little ghost friend, or like actually film it myself to project on the wall, because that's an asshole move. In fact, we talked about using my home security, my camera in my window, to monitor children real time, and then to actually project myself using an augmented reality filter to be like, hey, 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 come here, little child. Yes, you unicorn and your friend Woody. I don't fucking know. I don't know what the kids are, but the long and the short of it is yes, it will happen. This year it did not, but it was good. I gave out full-size chocolate bars and I ran out. I actually did not have enough. I had to turn off my lights early and I had 75 chocolate bars. Holy shit. Now, I will say there was a moment where one of the kids that came up to the door was like, oh, this is so big. For real, for real. And in my head, I thought, oh no, are you going to say it's bussin'? I'm going to slam the door on you. But that's not nice. And we don't do that. But I wanted to in my head. So if you had trick-or-treaters, A, did you get a lot? Was this a bounce back from COVID? Did you have any super cool, like heavy metal little kids? There were some good costumes. I have to say, kids don't do scary costumes anymore. What's up with that? Why doesn't anybody want nightmares anymore? Halloween's all about the big spookums. But I will say there was a great, Yes, and Ozbit's here. And say hi to Crystal. We actually, on Cyberbuzz on Saturday, we were talking about following Crystal's channel because she's a super cool, she does a lot of VTuber style streaming with cool avatars. She's a babe. So, yeah, parents phone it in with costumes these days. I agree. This is one of those things that we can blame on the parents for sure. But I will say, so not only, and also Oz, you're cool too. I just realized I was totally like, yeah, but also his lady is the cool one. No, 𝖊𝖕𝖆𝖆𝖘's fucking cool too. Join his server. You can hang out with him. He's a great source of knowledge for Hive. He's a gamer. He's also got some cool stuff going on with AI, yada, yada, yada. Crystal also needs a video editor. Listen, everybody on the internet needs a video editor. Any of you watching this right now, get some video editing skills. Make them dollars. So anyways, something Halloween. So the best costume that I saw this Halloween, and I'm not going to lie, I nearly peed my pants when this kid came to the door. Knocked on the door, open it. There is a stack of Amazon boxes at my door. And I realize it's a kid that if he goes like this, like the boxes are spaced out enough on his body that when he's standing up, he can move and walk. But when he squats a little bit, all the boxes stack on top of each other and he just looks like a pile of Amazon boxes on your doorstep. And then when I gave him the candy, he had a tiny Amazon box and he was putting the candy into the boxes. Blew my mind. It's the simplest thing, but honestly, it cracked me up when I first, opened the door and all there is a little stack of boxes. And fucking brilliant. So don't tell me you can't make a homemade costume. This kid went out literally in just plain cardboard boxes. He didn't even decorate them. He literally just taped the labels back down and was like, I'm an Amazon package. And it was hilarious. It was the best costume that I saw the whole night. Like a Transformer, but not. Fabulous. Yes, exactly. Very Metal Gear Solid. He should have actually just slid down my driveway, right? Snake. Yes. So for those of you who don't know, hiding in boxes, around boxes, in, under, throwing boxes. Very Metal Gear. Bunch of nerds in the chat, and we found you real quick. All right, so... Fun. All right, so I'm trying to keep everybody's questions. Yes, exactly. Like those kids that make boxes, like Transformer box costumes, but just not even that. Not even the effort to make it a Transformer. Just boxes. Just Amazon boxes. Amazing. Okay, so you guys want to do some heavy metal? You may have noticed here tonight that I'm wearing a chemist shirt. I have to say, I love this bad boy. And towards the end of the night, we're going to play this. But I did notice that I do love this idea. This is very Halloween. The whole thing where like the brain monster comes in, gets you with the tentacles, sucks out your eyeballs and eats your brain, and now it knows everything you know, or it uses you as a meat puppet to see the universe and bring its evil forth. That's Halloween to me. So I thought, let's move on from last week's show. No real theme tonight, but let's take from last week's show where we grabbed a bunch of fun, witchy, spooky tracks, and everything kind of had a Halloween-y edge to it. Well, we've come through Dia de los Muertos, we've come through the Day of the Dead, we've come through All Hallows Eve, all the witchy, spooky, pagan-y stuff, but I thought, let's catch up with some new releases, because man, oh man, I've been gone for months. I got a pile of new releases. Let's catch up on, it's not quite time to go whole hog, full force. It's definitely time to go full force, but it's not quite time to go super speed yet. So tonight has a lot of kind of slower. I got some sludgy stoner stuff. I got some doom stuff. I absolutely have some death metal. So yeah, some of the stuff will be harder tonight. Some of you guys will be happy. Some of you guys will be miserable. We'll shake out in the middle. And as we come towards the end of the show, I've got at least two quite a bit longer kind of 70s inspired throwbacks that feel a little bit Black Sabbath-y, and I thought maybe we could do some Black Sabbath, even though it will inevitably get my replay flagged and I'll have to do a bunch of editing. But if you guys are cool with that, Jesus says no meat, no fleshy things, no thank you. And you know what? That's fair. I hear you. I understand you. So that's what we're gonna do. That's how it's gonna be. I have a great show tonight. I'm stoked to play all sorts of good music for you, and that's what we're going to do. So coming up, we'll talk a little bit more about the idea of being tentacled. because that is certainly a heavy metal trope and a Halloween trope and a horror trope too, to be honest. So we'll do that. And we'll kind of we'll see how we're feeling. We'll play some music. We'll talk about stuff. But yeah, that's my plan for the evening. So what I want to do for you guys, let's take a quick peek here. I want to start with a band called Summerlands, but it's spelled Sumerlands. So it could be either. I don't know. Summerlands. But when you think of sort of Sumerian, ancient and, formative human stuff. And so this band is actually out of Philadelphia, I'm pretty sure. And, they have a sound that's very sort of 70s, 80s, 90s. They're combining all these things. They've got sort of Aussie-like Black Sabbath vocals layered over top of this new wave of traditional heavy metal. It's good stuff. I like it. And they did just release an album called Dream Killer, and that was in September. And of course, it was right after I left to go on vacation. It was after my last show, and it's a great album. I've actually played stuff off of 2 of their previous albums for you before. So I'm going to play the title track. It's called Dream Killer, Things That You Should Never Let Happen to You. But if you're here with me tonight, hopefully you will enjoy. It is a real mixed bag. It's a real mixed bag. And then we're going to talk a little bit about more things that we can do with this stream, because I've got options now. We'll talk a little bit Sanguine Haze. Lax hops in. Sanguine's here. The gang's all here. Good fun. Well done, Canada. We're going to have to catch you up and ask you about your Halloween experiences. But that's what we're going to do. We're going to start new old school. We're gonna power through some new old tracks from bands that we haven't heard for a while. We'll talk, if you guys want to talk about vacation stuff or what you've been doing in the last little bit while I've been away, we could do that. Otherwise, we'll see what happens. We'll have some fun with it. We'll go at it with full force. guitar fuckery gets me every time. I forget that the song's over. There you go. Yeah. Some sick, like, old school doubled up polyphonic harmonies there. Lots of medleys, which I'm a big fan of. So, hey, I'm gonna turn this off. Welcome to Fullforce Radio. Yes, I do indeed have some nuggets. I just got a private message. Are you eating nuggets? Yes. It is very hard for me to get home on time. Like, very hard. And so every now and again, the siren song of the pink slime, it gets you. Also, if I don't eat, I turn into a raging animal. And it turns out that's not great. It's not great for live streaming. What can I say? So, yes, I am powered solely by fake meat and strong coffee. And that is how we roll. So, yes, Summerland's Dream Killer. It's a sick track. I'm a big fan. Now, obviously, I love all sorts of, like, traditional heavy metal songs. Like, we've talked about it a million times before, that Iron Maiden and some of these very classic, yes, the siren song of the pink slime, just imagine it whirling and twirling out of a poorly cleaned nozzle. And I will say, I know Canada does have different standards than the US. I'm not going to say they're any better. And so, yeah, before everybody comes for me, like, listen, I eat quite healthy. I am a healthy person. I do healthy things. I will indeed eat the shit out of these nuggets. Somebody, you guys have joked for a very long time about mukbanging and eating on air and, making money by doing weird shit like that. And I'm not going to lie to you. It's the worst thing. It's the literal worst thing that I can imagine. I mean, I'm literally talking about weird fleshy like tentacle meat things and sort of that part of the trope. And we often talk about how gross heavy metal imagery is and how cool that is. But yeah, no. Nope. That's right. It is. It's the arrogant worms. It's not that we're much better. It's just that we're not worst. Yeah. Canada in a nutshell. We've talked about the arrogant worms on this show before, but I don't think, are the nuggets not deveined? Isn't that shrimp? I don't know. Listen, these are the sacrifices that I make for you guys. I eat the gross food that gets made in 14 seconds, like once a week, to make sure that I can function enough to do a stream. So, before the break, we were talking a little bit about tentacles in general. And I have to say, you know what this makes me think of? Arguably one of the best movies of all time. Do you guys, what if you were to think of like a giant brain bug, attaching to a human's head and like slowly absorbing them? What does that make you guys think of? Because I am, Matt, did I see Matt? Oh my goodness. Matt. Hi, I haven't seen you in so long. Oh, I know it's so lame, but every time somebody hops in on Twitch or Vim or trve or Theta or, I see you live in the Discord, I get so excited, especially when I haven't seen you guys in a long time. Honestly, I love knowing that you're out there and you're okay. It doesn't matter if you're not hanging out with me. I just like knowing that you're still well, especially after these last couple years. So, we're talking a little bit about getting tentacled, but like gentle tentacling. It's not like you're immediately being ripped apart in like a weird hentai way. We're just gentle brain probing, gentle tentacles, if you will. I definitely didn't name tonight's playlist #Gentacles. Because why? Because we can. So, Gentacles. So Patient Zero is saying the head hoppers from Half-Life 2. Yep, fair. Clay has hopped in, and I don't even know what that is. It's like a pickle, frog, duck stripping in front of a gaming PC with an upside-down McDonald's hat like a Wario. There's probably some context here that I'm missing. I don't have a stripper pole. I do have a pretty sick gaming PC. I do have an nugget lab. Well, actually, that's not true. I have an nugget 0.5. So That's my dinner for this evening. All right. So for me, nobody's said it's a stripper wassy. Yes, of course, obviously. Eileen is badly, what is it, drawn together? The princess that's definitely not Ariel with legs when she opens up her dress and she's just doesn't have a vagina. She just has tentacles. Yeah, that's borderline hentai, but not hentai. Fair enough. For me, the brain bugs obviously make me think of one of the best movies of all time. And I'm surprised nobody's said it. It is, of course, Starship Troopers. Yes? Anyone? One of the best movies of all time, Starship Troopers. Because the brain bugs look kind of like this. They have big brains and then vagina mouths, and they have sort of a proboscis that comes out. And they grab you and they doink their little thing into your head, and then they literally suck your head like a juice box. Yes? Please tell me you guys have seen Starship Troopers. And also, please tell me that you also agree that this is one of the absolute best movies of all time. Now who's in? People are typing. I'm nervous because I don't want anybody to say no because I will immediately boff you right out of chat. It's afraid. Okay. All right, 𝖊𝖕𝖆𝖘𝖔𝖉𝖊. Clay does say that he has it on good authority that all of us women's, all of we whamens, are actually just tentacles. We are just a pile of tentacles wearing a human suit. Donna Garten is willing to be the first to center and says, you're not sure you agree with your sentiments. Yes, yes, yes. Marco's yes. Gabe is yes. Lax is yes. Blue Robo's yes. Okay. Whew. Donnie. It is a great movie, but a lot of people don't like it because they don't 1,000. Would you like to know more? Yes. Yes. The liking intensifies. Yeah. Those scary bug mouths turned him gay. Yeah, that was it. That was the TSN turning point for him, right? Better cast. Oh, yeah, okay. You know what? I'll give you that. There are some people in that movie who are not very good. But you know what? They're there to look cute. The whole point of this movie is that these are really, really dumb, impressionable young people who get caught up in, are we allowed to say fascism anymore? It's a big, scary look at the past and the future and sort of the American way, and it's a mess, and it's a great, glorious mess, a propagandized mess. Oh, absolute piece of brilliant fiction. Okay, so we're doing better cast was not the point of that movie. Yeah, I mean that's fair. So okay, everybody's saying that the vagina mouths on the brain bugs is absolutely what turned 𝖊𝖕𝖆𝖘𝖔𝖉𝖎 into the fabulous. The Starship Troopers was about that. Yes! Go back and watch it. Patient Zero. The whole thing is about indoctrinating our youth, and actually indoctrinating our youth through a school system and a culture that actually grabs you from young age and pulls you through this insane route of nationalism and knowing your place and knowing your role and hitting you over and over and over with propaganda and how it's pointless and how it wastes lives and anyways. This is not a film dissertation course. We started this because they have giant vagina brain bugs with proboscis. Now, as someone who's been in the Navy, good for you, man. That is you know what? Honestly, service is hard, it is selfless, and I'm seriously impressed. And it's tough because you take all the heat from people who have something to say about military. You take all the heat from some people who, say everyone should be in the military. You've got your own experience, and it was probably good at times. It was probably horrible at times. And you know what? Ain't nobody can come for you for it. But yes, this movie, for me, one of the best. Including being in a barracks where there were many friendly tentacles that were not wanted. But were they gentacles? I hope they were gentacles. Oh no. Oh no. Lots of tentacles. Just so many tentacles. We're going to focus on the gentacles tonight. I know this particular person on my shirt, it doesn't look like they're having a great time. If you can't see me and you're just listening, I'm wearing a chemist shirt. Now I'm a huge I am a huge fan of chemists and bands of that ilk. If you notice that song that I just played for you, that sound that we were just talking about, sort of 1970s, 1980s, some of that psychedelic rock paired with the 90s traditional way of traditional style of heavy metal. Chemist is in there as well. They are doomed heavy metal. It's one of their albums of covers, but they're doom metal, and they also kind of pull in that traditional heavy metal sensibility. So they are 1,000% on the playlist tonight. And I will say big ups because I ordered this through them on Twitter, because I've got a couple of the band members that were mutuals on Twitter, and I found a little handwritten note inside the box. So if you've got, if you are one of those people who is, doing okay right now, first of all, good for you, because man, the world is a mess and it is hard out there. So if you're working hard, you're hustling hard, you're in good circumstances because you've worked for it or because you've happened into it, or you're not in good circumstances, I'm rooting for you. But if you have a bit of extra money and you want some great merch, man, everything Chemist puts out is sick. Sick. All right. So we will continue looking for, yes, so good that it's bad. Fantastic. I like him. He's with Linus Media. I didn't know he did with other shows. But yeah, so long story short is tonight we'll talk about more tentacles and brain bugs, but only gentle tentacles, no rapey tentacles allowed. I'm drawing the line because I know where chat goes, and I know how things are going to kind of spiral out of control, and let's just not do that. So one of the things that I do want to play, I want to play some brand new Wheel. Now, this is a band that I've played for you before. I'd have to double check on the Full Force Radio mega fuck off master list, but I definitely played them for you before. And you might remember in the end of 2019, one of their albums I had in my albums of the year for 2019. So they've just released some new music. They've released a new single. This came out in September as well. I'm trying to catch up with bands that I missed at that time while I was out climbing around on the glaciers and running around in Europe and all over the place doing Hive stuff. Some of you I got to see, some of you I didn't. I am hoping to rectify that over next year. P.S. if you're willing to go to Hive events, blockchain events, if you've got stuff going on, if there are metal shows near you and around you, I am absolutely insane enough travel to meet all of you. And to also, hit the lecture circuit while I'm at it. So if you promise not to gentacle me, promise. Let's make it happen. Another thing that I don't want you to do to me, this particular track, Blood Drinker. Good night, Jesus. Good night to whoever is leaving. Hello to whoever is joining. This is Full Force Radio. My name is 𝖭𝖓𝖏𝖏, and we got to move along here because I've been talking about vagina brain bug tentacles for too long, and we've literally only played one song. Oh, lordy. It's funny. You're looking for a record label, Nahu, but we actually have one. It's called Circle of Death Records. It's based here on Hive. The fabulous member of the Hive community and metal community runs it, and I will hook you up while I have this song playing. But, it's an option. We help a number of musicians on Hive release their stuff via DistroKid and other stuff. Okay, anyways, things that I don't want you to do to me outside of gentacling. Blood Drinker by Wheel. Perfect.
Unable to turn away, still brazenly curious to see what's in this for me. Hidden from watching eyes, left to fade into obscurity, doomed to be unremembered. Consuming all that remains, we die if I
Very genty. Okay, can I pause this before something else plays? Ah! There. All right, so there you go. New wheel. Very good. Very nice. I now have 0 nuggets left. You are joining me for Full Force Radio tonight. A little lower, a little slower. Everything's a little bit more downbeat, but we're getting some blast beats in. Don't you worry, them double kicks. It's happening. So before the break, if you want to call music a break, it's not, but it is. It's not. Talking about brain bugs, talking about Starship Troopers. Starship Troopers, one of the greatest movies of all time. That's fine if you don't agree, but you should agree. I like the thing, therefore you should like the thing. I value you and your diversity of opinions, friends. So, I was talking about what does it make you think of? Like, brain bugs and proboscises and sucking your brains. And I am damn surprised at you nerds. We did have the half-life head crab, head hopper bullshit. We had the giant vagina face tentacle stabber. But you nerds let me down. How did none of the Dungeons and Dragons nerdos hop in here with the mind flayers? No one? No mind flayers. Mind flayer tentacle attacks. I am shocked that didn't come up. Everyone here, -1 to your charisma or whatever. -1 to your knowledge. Yeah. Oh, crap. Yeah, exactly. Lax and Sanguine Haze. I'm not looking at you, but I'm eyeballing into the camera, which you may be on the other end of. You thought that sounded like Green Day. Mr. D. You know what? I actually know what you mean in terms of sort of that guitar tone and the weird sort of sound that they've... Yeah, you know what? Yeah. But Green Day, very upbeat, to be quite honest. Most of their tracks in a major chord. Most of Wheel's tracks, not even in a minor chord, just completely dissonant. And very much, when we talk about sort of the bands that laid the groundwork for gent and progressive, Ron's favorite pseudo genres, gent, jang jang jang, but progressive, gent, experimental, that kind of thing. Lots of weird time signatures, going from that sort of swing of 3/4 time, jumping into something messed up like 7/8 time and back to 4/4. And, that sort of strange, it keeps you off kilter. It keeps you off beat. And it's something that gent and prog specifically use really, really well, where they get you kind of into a rhythm and then they just knock your feet out from under you. But yes, all of you big nerdos, the fact that there were no mind flayer comments in chat. I'm not saying I am disappointed, but I am a little disappointed. But that's fine. You can keep thinking about all of the different tentacled tropes that are out there. And especially, we are really, really concerned about tentacles getting our brain. We've talked, Cthulhu. We've talked about this in the past where, we have these sort of things that are really shocking. And you guys know, for me, it's the sea in general. Why does anyone take anything out of the ocean and put it in their mouth? I don't know. To me, big weird. Big weird. And you know what? Fine. Go into the ocean and get a fish and put it in your mouth. Okay. Gross, but okay. But who digs around in the mud adjacent to the ocean, picks up a hard thing that you have to smash that is essentially full of snot, and then put that in your mouth? What is wrong with you? Who saw a lobster and was like, delicious? Hello, gigantic bug with snip snaps. I'ma suck the guts out of you. Nope. Nope. No. Osmond, but tasty, tasty ocean meat. No. And Donna Garden's asking, you don't like sushi. I actually really don't. And I've talked about this on the show before. And it's a weird hang up because I live in Vancouver. I live on the West Coast, Best Coast. You cannot get sushi more fresh than here in Vancouver. You literally, anywhere you go, you are on the ocean or you are on the river. And you literally can go to a restaurant who will be like, 1 second. they will be next door to a fish market, and the fish market will be like 1 second, and they'll go out to the ocean and be like, here's your fish. That's Vancouver. Real talk. Big shrimp, crawfish. Yeah, that's right. It was for those of you down in 𝖊𝖕𝖆𝖘. Yeah, people eat octopus. That bothers me. And you know what? It is illogical, and I don't want to get into the whole vegan discussion, but octopi and cephalopods are so intelligent. I love them with a passion. I'm a big cephalopod fan. Again, don't at me with your weird tentacle shit. I love them in a appreciate their little puppiness of the... No! Absolutely not. So I'll throw it back out there again for those of you who don't know. I put myself through university with a bunch of ridiculous odd jobs. I did not want to take a student loan. My parents helped me for the first year, and then I was like, I don't want to have any debts. So I worked and I put myself through university from start to finish. And often that meant that I did eels. You see an eel, a fucking eel. They're basically the thing that comes out of the alien's mouth. What is wrong with you? Feeling like I'm taking crazy pills. The ocean is ridiculous. No. But anyways, part of, for many of you, you know this, but so for part of putting myself through university, in the summers, I worked at a cannery. And here in Vancouver, there's a very famous restaurant called The Cannery. And everybody goes, oh, you worked at the restaurant. No, bitch. I worked in an actual cannery. So in one of the poorest areas of Vancouver, right on the ocean, right where the disgusting polluted mud is thickest, the trawlers come in and they dump their fresh fish, and it's for Canfisco, a big global conglomerate that does tuna and salmon and herring and all sorts of fish products. And so while I was growing up, while I was at the tender young university age, I worked at the Canfisco factory, and there were dancing the can. Honey, I wish I was dancing. I started out, and the first job that you do, mingling with the proles, dude, it's a rough job on your body. I have lung damage from working there. You know the things that they don't tell you? And I never realized. I looked around and I saw all of the older Asian women who had been there forever. They all wore face masks. And I never put two and two together. I was just like, ew, they don't like fish. Or, ooh, that's an Asian thing. Because most of them live in populous areas. And, the Asian countries, they wear masks for pollution and for sickness and things like that. That's just a cultural thing that they've always been good at. Here, and this is not just a factory. You have to picture this is a rotten old wharf down on the docks. It's been there forever. Half of the men have been working there since they were young. They have destroyed their bodies. They're part of the union. They're absolutely below the poverty line. And every week they get their Welfare Wednesday check. They get their cannery check. They hop down to an old pub called the 𝖊𝖕𝖆𝖆 in Vancouver, which has been gentrified and it's cool now. But at the time I was going there, it was disgusting. A bunch of old, gross, dirty people who'd been up to their necks in fish gut algae. I don't know if you've ever scaled a fish or even just worked with a lot of fish that have been sitting around. The scales stick to you while they're wet, and you don't have time to get rid of them. And then they dry. And what happens is they shrink. And they shrink tightly. And they cling to your skin. And you can't wash them off. You have to claw them off your body. And you're covered in these shiny, pig slaughterhouse. Exactly the same, Lax. Same vibe. Although yours, I think, would be more traumatic. But so the long and the short of it is I worked in this factory, and it reminded me of an old Simpsons episode because, you would bring, the fish would come in, and the first place that I worked was for, you did cows, pigs, sheep, and chickens. Yeah, okay. So the first line I worked on was herring, and the herring come in. Krim, what is the funniest death metal song name you ever heard? Oh man, you should have been here the night that we were looking at the slam-induced priapisms. But I will say I am also a big fan of most anal noth rock songs. I'm just going to keep throwing this under the bus for you. But if in a non-comical answer, I have to say that the side project of Christopher Bowes and his plate of baked beans, killed to death by bugs. Let me finish my story before we get into this ridiculousness. Killed to death. Been killed to death by bugs, cockroaches, beans, and slugs. Oh, we should play that tonight. It's brain bugs, right? We're going to play it. You guys are going to hate it. Everyone's going to leave. I love it. So The herring go into a line, and you pick them up. There's a big trough full of dead herring, and you pick them up, and the idea is you slide them into a conveyor belt with their bellies up, and the fish goes into the machine, and the machine goes and pulls all the roe out, and then the herring go down one side, and the roe goes down the other side. And so you're just sitting there, you're grabbing the herring, you're putting the herring into the conveyor belt. I did that for one summer. It nearly killed me. It's awful. Fish goes in, guts come out. Fish goes in, guts come out. But then I moved up and I moved into a position throwing salmon. And that was wild because the salmon off the coast, west coast of Canada, the BC salmon, they're some of the craziest salmon in the world. And they're heavy, heavy, heavy fish, 30, 40, 50 pounds plus, like big fuck off fish. Good night. And so the next job that I had was literally just picking up salmon and throwing them into bins. And that was fun. That was cool. That was my most ripped year. I was an absolute boss bitch. I smelled like fish. Not gonna lie, not great for your dating life, but awesome for the guns. And then finally, I moved into a part of the actual cannery itself where you would take these cleaned fish. And there was a whole line that I got to skip, which was a spoon welded to a tube. And you got a big dead salmon that had already had the preliminary guts ripped out. And you use the spoon to just scrape out whatever other was in there, including any blood left in the spinal column. Metal. But I moved into an extra last place in the cannery, and it was there where I learned about the wonders of automation, even though at the time it was still very old and rickety. And that was, you took a couple salmon, you put them together, you put them in the machine, and the machine went, and on the other side, a perfectly sealed can came out. And that was it. And I'm very like, just whole fish, tiny can, whole fish, tiny can. I absolutely don't like caviar. That's the whole point of this story. Ocean, boo. So, the long and the short of it is, if you're one of those people who can walk by the ocean and see a fucking crab, like a stinky, smelly crab that's all like, I'm gonna fuck you up, and you're gonna be like, yeah, sure, I'll put you in my mouth. No, what? Revisit your choices, but it's fine. Go ahead. I don't want to talk about creamy and nutty, especially not on Tentacle night. So, I don't know how we got here. We don't need to stay here. I don't eat fish. That's fine. I eat plenty of other things at sushi places, but no thank you. On principle, fish and I, no. No. Now I kind of want to play Christopher Bowes singing about baked beans and worms. But we won't. We're going to keep pink goo okay, fish no. Exactly. It's so simple and obviously logical. Come on. Let's play some more music because we've gone for an hour. We've played 2 songs and I have yelled at you for 20 minutes about fish. This is a mess. A mess, I tell you. I expected Fullforce Radio to go sideways because tentacles. I figured this would be standard. Usually when yes, exactly. If you're getting a tentacle, it may as well be creamy and nutty. No. No. Cripes. Let's refocus ourselves. Yes, best show ever. Every time it gets really, really bad and I end up just wildly ranting about something, hi Groff, it's so good to see you. Wow, fabulous, gang's all here. Every time I get wildly ranting about something, it is inevitably because you guys are jerks and nobody stops me and we waste the entire fucking show with just me waving my hands and ranting. Let's play some more heavy metal. So I played you guys Blood Drinker by Wheel. This might be a good place. I actually do want to play some old tracks as well. You gotta love crabs. You don't have to love them. Although, to be fair, crabs are fun. Crabs are fun and cute. And crustaceans, much like cephalopods, I think make much better friends than they do food. That's just me. I understand that culturally and depending on where you are in the world and socioeconomic status and all the rest, everybody has different views on meat and what types of meat are acceptable, whether or not, you should be working on intelligence and personality and whatever. I mean, arguably, pigs are like little puppies. So are cows. Why do you eat them? Why is it okay for one and not the other? Guess what? I'm a hideous hypocrite, and I'm still not eating the fish. I've never gone 5 minutes without going full wacky waving inflatable tube man. It's just part of my being and my psyche. Okay, Pig's asking a dog question. Are you a bad dog owner if I purposely let my house freeze so they want to cuddle with me? Ooh, this is a trick question. I'm going to say no, because you're also freezing with them and the two of you are sharing body heat. And you're doing that via building your relationship. But if your dog gets too cold and you're not providing enough heat, because make no mistake, they are not providing heat to you. You are providing heat to them. And if you're not providing enough, you better turn it back up. But no, not the asshole. Don't at me. I love dogs. Okay. But I mean, that's clever. That's clever. That's right up there. That's right up there with that really gross, terrifying line of like, hey, will my dog like me better if I attach some peanut butter to my forehead so I can clip his nails? Like, yeah, symbiosis for sure. So speaking of which, me and fish in general, me and eating something out of the ocean. I did want to play an old track too, and I thought, okay, we'll play a little bit of thrash. I mean, I do like to try and get at least one thrash track in a week, and new thrash is excellent. The new thrash scene is sick, but there's something to be said about old thrash, and I always love celebrating milestones. So, Sodom, however you want to say it. Classic band. And as of this month, this is one of Germany's big four thrash metal. Sodom emerged in the early 80s. They are coming up on 40 years. The album, 40 years of Sodom. Fucking sick, bro. That is sick. How often do you actually achieve monetization with your content? Great question. So for the longest time, I actually never asked anybody to like or subscribe. I still don't. I think it's yucky. Only in the last 3 or 4 months have I even mentioned free subscriptions, like using your Prime to subscribe on Twitch. Because I've always been involved in the Hive ecosystem, one of the most kind of amazing things is sometimes I make posts and that is monetization for me. I've made lots of tips. That to me is a great, yes, see, exactly. Your Hive posts make big bucks. And so that for me is very much a great route because it's very voluntary. People can choose. They're not forced into any of the aspects of traditional social media. But I will say the other thing is, but I also want to keep Hive inside the ecosystem. I want to keep your guys' Hive inside the ecosystem. So in the last little bit, it has been going up, 4 or 5 subscribers at a time, getting quite a bit of tips. And, Gabe's saying it's not that hard once you get momentum going. Well, for me, momentum is an issue because I'm constantly working on Hive stuff. And so, yes, I actually, for a while there was building sick momentum. But part of it is I struggle to force anybody to one place. If for a while there, I was only using one platform and the numbers obviously on that platform skyrocketed. It's really hard to tell during a live stream, but if you look down below me here, you'll see a number of people in the Discord. You've got a bunch of people on Twitch, a bunch of people on Vim TV, a bunch of people on Theta, a bunch of people on Trovo, and then we used to have a bunch of people on YouTube. Usually at any given time, there's a couple dozen listeners jumping in and out. When I get sort of the stream analytics at the end of the night, Twitch usually tells me there's about 30 different people. Oh, you're being facetious. Well, it's happening now. It's a great topic anyways. I think transparency in this sort of thing is really important. So in any case, usually it's between 25 and 30 individual people on Twitch that come and go over the night. So only just now I'm kind of moving towards that. YouTube will not let you monetize until you have 1,000 subscribers. I'm nowhere close to that because I don't ask people to do it. So, it's part of the plan. I think realistically what I need is just a manager who does all the things that I find distasteful, which is mostly talk about myself. Yuck. Not my favorite. All right, so friends, while we're at it, while we're at it. Before we get into 𝖬𝖐, because 40 years, I want to celebrate this milestone, and this is amazing, an amazing band. But we'll continue on. One of the things that I've found being a content creator and has been a big struggle for me is that as much as I want to spend all my time on making, thank you, pig. You'll be my cabana boy for $75,000 a year. I am in Canada. I can afford to pay you 14 US cents and 3 buttons off one of the blouses in my closet. Don't know how the exchange works out on that. But listen, the reason that I do these shows, the reason that we play metal together, the reason that I teach people about 𝖍𝖊, the reason we do Cyberbuzz, the reason that whatever, is because I love it. The struggle is loving it, unfortunately, doesn't allow me to do it as much as I want. That's the big struggle is, if I didn't have to work overtime a lot of the time, or if I wasn't traveling for 𝖍𝖊, then I wouldn't miss shows. You know what I mean? So it's this weird place where the more I take on to help 𝖍𝖊 and other tech grow and kind of be a better educator and a better liaison, the less time I have for content. And the less time I have for content, the less momentum gets built. And when I don't build momentum, I don't bring enough people in to give them the message as an educator. It's bullshit. So realistically, I need to find a crypto whale to salary me, and then I'll just stream 24/7, and I'll travel from conference to conference, and I'll just work with all the exchanges, and everything will be magic. It's so simple. Duh. But in the meantime, we're all hanging out here, going to keep you warm through the winter. We're going to play some 𝖬𝖐. So, they formed in 1981. So we are officially 40 full years of German thrash. And when they started off, they were super satanic. It was a big thing. Oh, yeah. Anybody that wants to work for me can pet my dogs. That's not a euphemism. No genticles here. I have amazing dogs. It's worth every penny, let me tell you. 1981. And they started out, it was a lot. Oh, thank you. You guys are very sweet. I have to say, on the days that I'm feeling absolute bullshit, it's really nice to come here and to have everybody say nice things, because I look at it the exact opposite is the more I get to know you guys, and it's different every week, different people every week. I meet you, I get to know your streams, I get to know what you like from me, I get to hear about your lives, I get to meet people all over the world. You're the inspiring ones, ya fucks. So there. 𝖬𝖐. Really satanic. And that's not a bad thing, but we've often talked about how in the late 70s, early 80s, there was this sort of burgeoning, bubbling trend. Venom and 𝖬𝖐 and a bunch of these bands from over the pond were exploring this sort of satanic wave. And you would see a lot of this with Anton LaVey and all of the things that were kind of happening. It was a natural progression when you came out of a very rigid Christian time period like the 50s and you started experimenting with, drugs and mind expansion, and you got into free love and all these things that were sort of a pushback against that. Inherently, people kind of landed on what gets everybody riled up, what gets us, talking about whatever. And that's where sort of Satanism, especially in music, whether or not it was true Satanism, because most of these bands, not Satanists, but it was imagery that was evocative, and it had a sound, and it had a feel, and it had a cool fucking look. And these bands ran with it. 𝖬𝖐 was one of them. But when they came back around after their signing and moving into the late 80s and kind of pushing into the 90s, they dialed that way back and they just went hard on thrash and so much good stuff. So one of the things that ended up happening is one of the members of 𝖬𝖐 from that time, the early 80s, wanted to keep on with that. And he ended up actually scooting over and forming the band Kreator. I'm also a big fan. So this was just a great time period. It was a great time period for angry, over-the-top, out-of-control music. And that's what we're all here for, right? So I thought, let's go back, let's get something, let's celebrate 40 years. And frankly, something, I don't actually want to eat fish. So as a terrible seg, I would be better off dead than eating the bugs. It's not a good sight. Yes, man, that's a classic. That is a classic. Better Off Dead. Terror, hate, murder, rape. I mean, those are horrible things. I'm not just cackling along, but you know, delightful. Good night again. You've said goodnight like 3 times. You got a lot more work to do this week. Go get your beauty sleep, man. So yeah, maple syrup is actually Gattaca. That's so exciting. So yes, I will be going to Montreal. I am using up the last little bit of vacation, and I mean, I don't actually have any vacation left. By that, I'm using up the very last like leave of absence day I can take. So I will be flying in on December the 3rd, I believe it is. Great Heathen Army Tour. We were talking about this last week. Amon Amarth and cattle decapitation. And it's going to be sick. If you have a ticket, let's go. Let's throw down in the pit. I'm going to die. It'll be amazing. If not, I would be happy to meet you for drinks before or after the show. Super cool. Love it. But we were mentioning earlier, just on the topic of this evening, no tentacling, gentle or otherwise. No blood drinking, no axe murdering. From me to you or from you to me. Okay? Pinky promise? Go team. All right. So there you go. Classic. And I don't know if you guys, if you're watching, the album cover is pretty sick. It's called 40 Years at War, the greatest hell of Sodom. Metal is half meme at this point. Yeah. Yeah. That's what makes it great. That's the whole point. If you love metal, you could be exactly who you want to be. You could celebrate all the things you want to celebrate. And if you want to celebrate being an absolute goof, who cares? It's fun as shit. I'm literally wearing a shirt with a human having their brains sucked out of their head by a giant bug. It's fun. People who take metal too seriously, and there are parts of it you should take seriously, but overall, it is a genre meant to be ridiculous. It is meant to be explosive. It is meant to be cathartic. Metal is absolutely a meme, and metalheads are the happiest people in the world. So, absolutely. All right. You call your axe Ruby. You want a gopher circumciser. That's pretty good, but gophers are not a scary enough animal. But I do like this. I mean, honestly, we've talked about this at length on this show. We have made up fake bands. 𝖊𝖕𝖆𝖘. I still have a 𝖊𝖕𝖆𝖘 design. I'm actually actively working on merch now. So there's that. It is actually coming. Like, I'm actively working on sketches and stuff. But again, art, one of those content creation things I don't always have time for. What can I say? Tentacles for everyone. Tentacle art. But yeah, like on this show, we've literally talked about the worst, dumbest, most ridiculous band names. Metal is a meme. But memes make people happy. So, fuck it. All right. So, Pig has been saying that... Pig has been saying that, part of him finding the style that he liked really came down to, can I understand the lyrics or not? And that is fair. That's super fair. And I think for a lot of people, that's a big one, right? We connect with lyrics, even if they're ridiculous. We connect with them. Growling is hard to get into. Unclean singing is hard to get into. And I've been very open that my journey into metal and sort of my descent into the depths of hell down here with the bugs and no fish, has, of course, been from bands like Iron Maiden, like Judas Priest, like Motorhead. You know, these bands that sort of tipped me over the edge of hard rock and that slippery slope into traditional British heavy metal, and then kind of exploring where that came from, getting a little harder. For a long time, it was just Meladeth. I liked things with a solid melody line. I liked things that were orchestral. I loved epic metal. I started listening to Camelot, to Epica, to Edguy was a big one. I started getting into all those bands, and then I would go see them live, and they would be touring with another band a little bit harder, and then I'd get into them, and I'd realize, well, that's fucking cool. Yes, I know The Who. We have absolutely had both an Asiatic metal show, and we have had sort of like a heathen pagan, like tribal chanting show as well. Listen, I've been doing this show for 5.5 years. Yeah, Edguy and Camelot. And so actually earlier this week, I took my Edguy shirt out. My very first Edguy shirt. I have a note in my phone from when I got it. Normal, hi! Oh my goodness, this is cool. So many people are here tonight. Yay! Listen, the second we start talking about tentacles, all you perverts come rocking up out of the woodwork. But yeah, so I actually have a note in my phone because my Edguy shirt is so old now. It's the oldest, it's one of the oldest shirts that I have. And so I have a note in my phone. It only goes out on its birthday. So I could tell you exactly when that is because it actually has, I have a tinnitus sanctus. Yeah, so here you go. In my phone, you can't tell, but on October 23rd, if we can zoom, can we zoom in? Can we? Oh, no, I forgot. My camera's not set. But on October 23rd, I actually have a Tinnitus Over America repeats yearly event. I don't know if you can see it. You can't. I don't know how to get it in focus. Forget it. But it's in my phone. So I remember because I don't want to. No, not you, Normok. Everybody here tonight. Do you like sushi? Do you eat fish? Fucking fish. We've already had a whole argument about don't eat things out of the ocean. God damn it. Marcos never really, he's listened to the most metal he's listened to in his life just because he shows up to my shows. And sometimes he mutes me, as well you all should. And now you're all into alien death metal. Absolutely. So there you go. Everybody, sushi's the best. God damn it. God damn it. All of you. You're all a disaster. No. Okay. So we've talked about brain suckers. We've talked about tentacles, gentle tentacles. We've talked about a bunch of stuff. We had a brief sort of foray off into thrash there. And we're coming back around to new tracks. Now, so one of the bands out there that when we talk about sort of crossover and that we're a lot of sort of gateway drugs, can we call them gateway drugs? Bands that have a wider reach just because they're a little more accessible. And I know Gabe is a fan and probably some of the rest of you. I want to play something by 𝖭𝖭𝖆𝖆. Now, 𝖭𝖭𝖆𝖆 have obviously been around for a very, very, very long time. And anytime I play music by 𝖭𝖭𝖆𝖆, we go back and we talk about how when I was very young and A&B sound was still a thing in Vancouver, I took a bus for an hour and a half down there. I pooled up my freaking, I think it was still my allowance money at that time. I pooled up my allowance money and I special ordered one of 𝖭𝖭𝖆𝖆's very early albums because I couldn't get it in stores. And I mean, that was many, many, many moons ago. Ultra Mega 𝖭𝖭𝖆𝖆. Yeah, it would have been, I want to say the album that I special ordered was actually 𝖊𝖕𝖆𝖆. That would have been 1996, I want to say. 1996. So I would have been... It would have been probably the year after it was released. I'm going to say I was 12 years old. Lobster's a gateway drug. Groff, get out of here with your sea bugs. So yes, and then I ended up, there's a bunch of albums that I ended up getting into after that. But then we got Napster, and I absolutely destroyed... I'm a baby. I'm not. I'm actually old. I'm going to be turning 40 soon. I'm excited. Although I guess we're not supposed to like getting older. I don't know. I'm here for it. I get older. I don't really get smarter. But I do have some, well, not anymore. I was getting a little smarter and I was having more money. I look mostly the same. Overall, I'm healthy and I'm happy. Getting older is fun. I'm allowed to do more stuff. People don't question me when I do stuff now. They just think she's a crazy old lady. It's fantastic. Fantastic. But in any case, they have a pretty thick with like 3 C's thick. Thank you. Why, thank you. We've talked about this before. If you're a little bit chubby, you fill in all your wrinkles. It's A++. High five. Keep just enough fat on your body that your wrinkles are mostly filled in by fat. Crib tips. And to be fair, I really love Journey too. But the problem is I got really burnt out on Journey because once I made the mistake of singing Journey at a rock band party, and from then on, anytime we went to karaoke, anytime we played rock band, everybody wanted me to sing Journey. And now in my mind, like, even though Journey, like, Separate Ways is one of the best songs ever, like how fucking Starship Troopers is one of the best movies ever. Even though Separate Ways is one of the best songs ever, and we could have an entire show about me talking about the importance of the drums and the melodic nature of the paired tom drums in Separate Ways by Journey. We're not going to, because Journey just makes me have these horrible Vietnam flashbacks of singing every single time somebody wanted to play Rock Band, singing fucking, yeah. Fucking Journey. All right, so how did we get on this topic? Gateway drugs, accessible music, and this sort of weird space where, especially in the 90s and 2000s, early 2000s, a lot of opera metal, a lot of symphony metal, a lot of really great melodic metal that wasn't really melodeath. Epic, melodic, symphonic, Nightwish really kicked things off. Will you sing Separate Ways? Dun, 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 dun. No, I won't. But oh God, now I just want to play Separate Ways by Journey. How metal can you get? Listen, let's play Therion. This is my radio show, you fucks. I've missed all your faces. I've missed all your faces. Yes, Normak is saying the new guy from the Philippines. He is from the Philippines. His name is Arnold Pineda. And the problem is Steve Perry actually is back with the band now. He had a flounce. He had a mental health thing. He was taking care of his family. He decided he was never going to tour with Journey again. Journey did this crazy fun thing where they went and they set out and they said, hey, we want a new singer. We want a tour. Come join us. Arnell, karaoke bar star, turned into fabulous frontman and great musician. And he was with Journey for many years. Great, great, great. Unbelievable. Super cool guy. Injected a lot of like vibrance and fun into the band again. And now Steve Perry is kind of doing his thing with him. So, hashtag Journey knowledge. Let's continue. I want to play something by Therion, but I'm not going to be playing something. I'm not going to be playing something from the old discography. Like I told you guys, I've been gone for months. There's lots of new music to play for you. And so they put out an album called 𝖊𝖕𝖆𝖘, and it literally is 4 days old, 5 days old. So I spent this morning, like Steve Perry is like, had a bit of a fucking flounce and a meltdown, and I can't speak to it. I literally talked last week about how Roy Khan from Camelot also, it's a big thing, especially when you're one of the biggest bands in the world. There's a lot of I swear I just saw this, that he was getting a little uppity about some of the performances and they had scheduled for him to perform. I could be lying to you. I don't know. You guys take everything I say at face value. Verify, don't trust. 36 minutes later, we still haven't played a Therion track. I'm going to play something off an album that's only 4 days old. It's got some of that sort of old Therion sound. You've got your male singer, you've got your super operatic female singer, you've got your choir in the background, you've got these wide sweeping soundscapes. Is it kind of on point with everything tonight? No. Is it brand new? Is it a perfect fit for Fullforce Radio? Absolutely. Did it kind of just fall in with what we're talking about? Sort of. But listen, even though tonight's playlist is definitely going to be called #Gentacled, we sometimes just ram in things that need to happen where they need to happen. It is consensual because you're still here. By definition, if you listen, it's consensual. It's called Pazuzu. 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 You guys always save the craziest gifts of me, but I have to admit, I look absolutely deranged in that one. Holy Hannah, you've climbed Everest. Oh, okay, yeah, no, Everest. I would like to do base camp. I wouldn't actually like to climb Everest, but we talk about it on I guess maybe not this show, but I have a great healthy respect for mountains in general, and Everest is one of them. So Rainbow Road is terrifying and beautiful and symbolizes all of the most wonderful aspirations of man and all of our deepest human failings. Yeah, Everest is cool. But yeah, no, I just got back from Iceland, my second trip to Iceland, and the whole trip was centered around actually climbing one of the glaciers there. And I've climbed the Mendenhall in Alaska as well, because I am fascinated with people who are so in love with mountains and end up kind of succumbing to their siren song. A lot of siren songs tonight. Siren songs of the mountains. Call of the mountains. Oh, we're gonna have to play some 𝖊𝖕𝖎𝖘 as well. Oh, that's a good song. I'm gonna put it in the playlist. But the siren call of the pink slime on one hand, the siren call of mountains on the other. And I will say, like, I grew up here in BC, and a very famous ice climber was born here, and his name was Marc Andre. And he was a young kid. He was super gifted, and he's this incredible ice climber. He was known all over the world for being weird and quirky, and he just always wanted bigger and colder and more dangerous. And so there's actually a documentary about him. I highly, highly, highly recommend you guys all go watch it. It's one of the best documentaries I've ever seen, to be quite honest. And I watch a lot of documentaries. But same thing. I wanted to see the places. I want to see these places that we're obsessed with and that people are willing to kind of throw their whole lives into without that fear of death. So I did. I went straight to the Mendenhall because of that. And yes, and so I spent some time on the 𝖊𝖕𝖆𝖘. I can't say it, but it looks like 𝖊𝖕𝖆𝖆𝖘 glacier in Iceland, and it's probably never going to stop. It has become a new obsession for me. However, I don't want to die, so I'm a little more careful. But yeah, overall, mountains for me, growing up in BC, they are an intrinsic part of who I am. And everywhere that I go and everywhere that I travel, when I can't see them, it's very weird. Sanguinhase and 𝖊𝖕𝖆𝖏 are the opposite. They grew up in flat places and broad, beautiful, open skies. And when they see mountains, it's probably a little more strange for them. But that's how it is most of the places that I travel are very rarely are they tropical, or if they are tropical, I go in off season. And I usually am looking for things to climb: trees, mountains, glaciers, stuff like that. And it's just what it is. I had no idea. I would agree with you normally. Why would you go climb a giant ice cube? And it turns out there is just incredible sound and beauty and imagery in ice that you can't see until you get there, and you don't know until you experience it. And it's something, there's a post at some point coming on, at some point on Hive, because I climbed up the glacier with a small group, and then we actually went down into kind of the edge of a moraine, which is a really big, deep crack in the ice where people die, and into an ice cave. And that was incredible. And I mean, there's a lot of places to do that here in BC, but there's something very wonderful about being, blessed enough and to hustle hard enough to save enough money to travel these places in the world and just walk all over them and remember how tiny I am. And we talk about this a lot, but it is my love and my passion. So I get it. I understand that desire to just walk away from the digital, touch grass or whatever. And okay, so you're obviously a big dude then. Excellent. I'm a big dude fan. There are many big dudes here in the chat. I also like small dudes and small ladies and big ladies. Listen, I like you people. I like your faces. But so 6'6". Oh shit. Use a thickums. Use a big thickums. Yes. I'm 5'7". I'm about as average as every gender can be. I am everyone. But yeah, so long and short, we've kind of diverged again, but that's what we do. Touch the grass and pee on glaciers. Amen. Hallelujah. This is the prayer. Hi, new girl. Speaking of cute, tiny ladies jumping in. So yeah, it wasn't planned for tonight's playlist, but gosh darn it, we're going to do it now because Call of the Mountains is now stuck in my head. So we're going to look that up. Call of the Mountains. You know what? I haven't played 𝖊𝖕𝖎𝖘 in a long ass time. So we're going to do that. Since we were speaking about some tracks that are older, that are, that are kind of evocative and that fit tonight. I'm a little sad _𝖕𝖆𝖚 didn't come on our trip. We had a lot of fun. 𝖕𝖆𝖚, did they tell you how I turned into a spandex burrito? Like a classy broad. But we had a lot of fun, to be honest. So let's do it. Everybody can sing along. We're not gonna sing Journey, but we can sing Call of the Mountains together. We can think about the mountains, and then we will jump back into the lower and slower, the down tempo. We will play some doomy gloomy kind of psychedelic rock and roll. We are officially, as of right now, halfway through tonight's show. And when we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about what that looks like going forwards and how we want to do this, what we want to do, how we want to progress with Fullforce Radio together, and what is going to work best for all of you, because I am, of course, at your disposal. Please don't dispose of me, but I am at your disposal. So let's do it. We'll play some Call of the Mountains, and then I actually happen to have a song about glaciers. Isn't that weird? It's almost like somebody plans this shit. Not me, though. I never know what's going on. It's how Fullforce Radio is. Big mess.
Swords in our hands, against the sea, with our backs to the walls, against the stress in the presence of our enemies, against the storms roaring at our faces. The cry rang out throughout the skies, a beckon, the flight of the crane, the call of the mountains.
It's a lot of yippies in the background. Hey, there you go. Okay, yes, Lax is good point. So Graf was asking, hey, are there polar bears up where I was? And no, there's not, actually. Iceland is a very strange place. There are 0 predators in Iceland. People or animals. It is an odd place. In general, there's just not a lot of wildlife at all, but no natural predators of any sort. But where Lax is, polar bears are a thing. And of course, as a Canadian, you're taught very, very young to have a recommendation for a duet band, melodic soft female vocalist and harsh male vocalist. Ooh, there are a lot of options for that. Like Deadlock. Let me think on this, because depending on sort of what subgenre you want to be in, there are quite a few bands that do this. One, like if you're like industrial, agro-tech, upbeat stuff, like Amaranth would be one. And actually, even some songs by Amorphous, there's a whole subsection of songs where when, and actually Camelot, there's a lot of these bands in Melodeath that do it. So if that's what you want, yeah, man, I could think of a bunch. But before I get too far off track, where Lax is a place where polar boys, them polar boys out on the ice, they're dangerous predators. Not polar boys, polar bears. And actually where Cly is as well, both in Canada. New Girl is asking, what song did we just hear? It's a band called 𝖊𝖕𝖎𝖘. I don't know how to say it. I've always said it 𝖊𝖕𝖎𝖘, but I always assume I'm saying something incorrectly. It's a track called Call of the Mountains. It is excellent. It is off an album called Origins, which, I don't remember, but off the top of my head, mid-2000s. Mid-2000s, for sure. Like, 𝖊𝖕𝖎𝖘. I don't know. I could look it up, but it doesn't matter. The V is a W. That is very Eastern European, to be quite honest. So there you go. You know better than I do. It is what it is. I highly, highly recommend, if you are a folk metal enthusiast, meaning you like traditional instruments, banjo not being one of them in this case, but hurdy-gurdy, which is a really, really cool sound. Traditional things like fife, penny whistles, tin flutes, etc. Then highly, highly recommend going through their back catalog. Now, one of the problems is one of the members of their bands is a wiener. He kind of sucks. He drives away a lot of people who join the band. So their lineup has changed a lot over the years. And if you are interested in the woman that you hear singing, her name is Anna. She actually ended up splitting off and going and forming a new band, and it's called Cellar Darling, and I'll be seeing them in a couple weeks. So there you go. But old 𝖊𝖕𝖎𝖘, excellent. 𝖊𝖕𝖎𝖘, whatever. Excellent, excellent back catalog, and all sort of very traditional. It's funny because they're not a Celtic band, but they're very open with Celtic influences, and they have a lot of that sort of folk metal. So yes, Lax, there you go. Cool polar bear sharing there. So there you go. But Lax lives in an area where polar bear warnings have to happen around their like hamlet or whatever. Everybody will hop on Facebook and share the news of like, hey, there's a polar bear out there. Go get your dog, or make sure children aren't wandering around on the seashore looking for lobsters to eat. Fuck. Once again, the ocean is fucking us over. So there you go. So yeah, I do. I love that song, and that is definitely a karaoke song for me. I'm not sick of that one. I'm a big fan. Yeah. All right, so unplanned but added to the playlist, and I sure am not unhappy about it, to be quite honest. Great work, guys. So on the there's that large boob jiggle again for the collection that everybody is inevitably creating. Listen. They're just everywhere I go. There they are. So I did promise you guys that I would try and sneak in a bit more music, and we shall indeed do that. But one of the things that I was mentioning before we hopped into that particular track is that so we are coming up on the time of the DST back to PST to whatever. So I think we're in PDT right now. We'll be moving back to PST from daylight savings time back to standard time. Daylight savings time for me stands for dumpster fire savings time. It's stupid and I hate it. And it is a big problem for me because before, when I was used to stick to the MSP Waves radio station schedule, it was really difficult for me because the radio station times in UTC. And for many of you all around the world, UTC is much better. But the problem is UTC stays the same. So when my time zone changes, for me to stay at the same time UTC, I have to change my PST time. Here's the deal. It moves my show an hour earlier. And so the problem becomes, is that an NFT? Nice fucking titties. Sorry. So I can't have nice things on hashtag Gentacled night. I've confused myself. Titties do that. Shit. What was I saying? Dumpster fire savings time. So the problem becomes is my show moves an hour earlier. Now for me, these days, because I am doing a lot of work, I'm working often. Hi, kitty girl. Speaking of nice fucking kitties. Because I'm at work more and more these days. I'm doing a lot of work around the Hive ecosystem. My days are really full, and it's actually been a real struggle to get home on time for my shows. I'm trying to fix that. I'm working harder. I think I'm getting a bit better at it. But moving an hour earlier makes things even trickier for me. So I don't move my show. My show stays at this time. Whatever time it started tonight is the time it's going to start for me. But for many of you around the world, that means it's going to shift. It's going to be at a different time because I'm not changing for UTC. I'm not changing for PDT, therefore UTC ends up changing because by not changing, I am changing. Does that make sense? It's stupid. Everything's stupid. So for many of you, it's going to suck. So be it. So the long and the short is, many of you guys asked, begged, hoped, pleaded that the show would go back to being 3 hours long. And it is. It's 3 hours long. However, it may be that once again, a lot of the people who prefer 3 hours no longer come to the shows. Because one of the things is we've seen tonight, old faces, new faces, babes that I haven't seen in a long time, brand new people. Gabe says, can you please GMT for my AWST? And in my mind, I'm automatically looking for things to make that. So I read that as, can you please give me tongue for my... Anyways, don't worry about it. So yeah, the long and the short of it is I'm thinking about moving back to 2 hours because I know for some of you, this is literally the middle of the night. And that's tricky. Yeah, on-chain plagiarism to that. Atta girl. Well done you. So I'm unsure. I'm thinking I'm going to keep it at 2 hours. That's a healthy length. Sometimes it's a little bit short, but for those of you who have to stay up really late, get up really early, for me, trying to make it work inside this time frame, I feel like that might be the way to do it. And I know that kind of sucks, but also keeping that sort of mindful space in the back of my head where I would like to be able to spend a little bit more time working on the video content to grow the show. All of this stuff, it seems like the logical choice. But what I would also like to do is kind of make an unofficial gaming chatting night as well, because we don't have that. Hi, Corbin! Ah! I'm so excited to see all of you guys that are here tonight. Oh, Mr. D, I'm not saying I'm a squirrel, but I'm a little squirrel-esque. Squirrel-esque. Squirrel-esque sounds like furry burlesque. Yuck, let's not. So, to recap, something, brain bugs, something, Starship Troopers, hashtag gentle tentacles, genticles, something about mountains, going on vacation, you're caught up. With the rising controversy of AI art, do AI writing bots make plagiarism difficult? Oh my goodness, Lax, it is kind of a Saturday topic, but it's not. And I actually have some topics for tonight on this. Thank you with providing me for a segue. So there are two things right now that are people are very upset about. And I'll share one with you because it's funny, and I'll share one with you because it's not quite funny, and we'll kind of go with that. But I will say, as a Saturday topic, AI in writing is, it's actually basically right now being used to kickstart content. What they are suggesting is, not necessarily plagiarism, but writing is hard and it takes a lot of time. So don't write. Just ask an AI to write an article for you and then go through and edit it. And now you have a new article. And so be it. Did I invent something? Squirrel-esque is not a thing. But if you do look up Squirrel Girl, not only is she a comic book character, there's a lot of weird fucking furry shit. So, hedge your bets. So with that being said, we'll start with the one that's not funny, but that just is riling people up. And it's August Burns Red. And I've played them for you before. But August Burns Red has announced the album and they've shared the cover. And people in the industry are losing their fucking minds. And let me show you why. Let's grab this image here. I'm going to show you the cover that's been released for this album. Let's flip over to the browser here. Oh, I'm upside down again. Gosh darn it. I changed my camera angle, as you can tell, because I fixed it after I came home and now I'm upside down. So let's fix that. But if you look on the screen, if you're watching right now, if you're not watching, I'll share the link in the Restream chat. Give me 1 second. Let me get my head on straight here. Badoop. So here you go. This is the album cover that was just announced. And it has got, to be quite honest, the perfect AI look to it. If you didn't know that it was AI, you would know right off the bat that something was wrong with it. And if you've ever seen AI art and the style of Deep Dream and many of these AI art generators, you would know for a fact right off the bat, that's clearly AI art. So there you go. I think overall the cover, it looks cool. It's aesthetically interesting. But to me, it's kind of sad to see this because there's no real detail here. And I love looking at album art. I love album art. And metal in general, we've had many talks about this, often employs incredible artists. Some are gory, some are beautiful, some are pastoral mountain scenes, nature scenes, often oil paintings, often incredibly detailed, just beautiful pieces. And one of the kind of coolest things in the world is that artists get commissions by bands for albums. And this, I was shocked to see the response in the community. People are salty. Now, I'm not saying they shouldn't be. To be quite honest, yuck. I'm not a big fan of this, and that's too bad. In fact, what I would have loved to see is this AI prompt, this thing taken, given to an artist and somebody in the band saying, I love this color palette. I love this idea of a monolithic creature and this sort of autumn death landscape with this sort of lava-esque avatar of death rising out of the rocks. Now paint it. Use this as inspiration. Keep these colors. The overall composition is great. We're happy with this. Paint us something. That would be the absolute perfect marriage of both worlds for me. Because every part of me, Corbin's saying, oh, this looks like the Archspire cover. It's a dystopian hellscape with a bunch of little hidden details. But the difference is Archspire's is painted and there are details. One of the cool and weirdest things about AI art that's both inspiring and annoying is the more you zoom in, let's just try this here. The more you zoom in, the more you realize, let's just see. The more you realize that all those little details, there are no details there at all. Nothing is anything. And every part of you wants to get in there and be like, why is this picture like this? What is that? Oh my God, is that a tentacle? Is it a crab? Did it come out of the ocean? And you zoom in and you realize, no, it's not anything. And that's frustrating in some ways, Oh, is that a dragon? Oh, no, it's not. It's fucking not. And it's very interesting. So it's, a guy. Yeah, a guy. Yeah. So there you go. Groff has dropped an incredible album cover. And so for me, I think that's the best use of AI right now. It's the same as what we were just talking about with Kitty Girl and plagiarism and all this stuff. As a prompt, as a jumping off point, as a way to quickly conceptualize something, take it from text, say, I want this color, this color, this color. I want to include a skull. Let's put it on a background. I love the style of Beksinski. Okay, what does that look like? No, I don't love it. Regenerate it, but I'm going to add in also tentacles. And then all of a sudden, the thing it spits out, you're like, yes! Oh, yes! okay, and you're inspired and you go from there. It's the same with a text prompt. That's the way that I feel AI is going to be incredible, and it's going to help a creative be more creative versus letting someone non-creative replace a creative. Because realistically, you still have to have the ability to understand this tool well enough to create valuable prompts. Patient Zero is an awesome example. Often in this chat, Patient Zero will use this software, and actually 𝖊𝖕𝖆𝖆 is another great example. He's got, if you join his server, he's actually awesome enough to share his trained version of AI generation software. You have to get really good at distilling the thoughts you want to express and giving them to a machine, giving them to a neural network and getting the response you expect. Now, if you're just looking for something hilarious, hell yeah, AI's probably got you covered. But if you're looking to truly generate something that matches the picture that you have in your brain, it's really difficult to communicate those two things. The way that you form imagery in your head and the way that you speak it into life via this mechanism is very different. See, there you go. So fucking amazing. Like, you know what, 𝖊𝖕𝖆, I think this is awesome. I love this. So thank you. We're going to use this as an example just while we're still talking about it. We're going to jump back over to the browser. So here you go. 𝖊𝖕𝖆 literally just freshly generated this. This is sick. First of all, I wish I looked this cool. God damn. And so when you're zooming in here, you look at it, you're like, yeah, hot chick, sunglasses, cool outfit, flaming sword, guitar. Yeah. Hell yeah, I wish I looked that badass. But then you start zooming in and we start realizing that AI hasn't quite gotten perfect at it yet. And there are still stylistic cues that throw you. And, once you start looking, you realize, okay, well, it doesn't quite understand what to do with the edge of these sunglasses here. That's a little funky. You guys can't see my cursor, so unfortunately. Or if you look where her fingers meet the neck, the fretboard, you start realizing, does she just have one giant hot dog finger? Is this everything everywhere all at once? She's got like 6 beefy ass fingers just coming out of her little distorted wrist stump there. Also, where are her legs? Okay. And you start realizing that AI does a great job of putting together pieces of things, but they don't truly understand. The AI doesn't understand how they fit together, and that's the beauty of human imagination, is you can interpret those connections where they don't exist. If an AI hasn't seen a way to connect a flaming sword to a beautiful woman's arm, it doesn't have the same creativity to extrapolate what that could look like. So there's an interesting kind of dichotomy here, but so it's funny that you brought this up, Lax, because before we jump into our next track, there's another thing. Yes, the art of AI training. Very fucking important. It's crazy. AI does do a great job of painting something for something that's never seen anything. Truth. Very true. It's an impressive thing, and it's only going to get better. But what you have to remember is neural networks learn from humans. Neural networks, they will start learning from other neural networks. We've talked about generative artificial intelligence before. That's a cyberbuzz topic. But everything first came from the creativity of humans. Photography, videography, art, paintings, real, imagined, fake, generated. Everything every AI has ever seen and ever been trained on was written, spoken, created, conceived of, happened from a human. So we still have this edge where we know how to create prompts and we know how to connect unrelated concepts in ways that are unexpected. AI has to have a formula. It has to have seen it. It has to be logical. It has to make sense. If it guesses, its guesses are really fucking stupid. Sometimes that looks cool, but a human, nothing quite matches our creativity yet. So before we get caught in this topic forever, my name is 𝖭𝖆𝖆 and this is Fullforce Radio. We're back on schedule. I'm back from vacation. I've missed all your faces. Tonight has been an absolute fucking delight to see so many of you back again. And, we've been all over the place. A lot of the music tonight was just me catching up with some new releases that I never got to share with all of you, which is dumb. I did have a couple of older tracks as well, and we threw in that Call of the Mountains just cause it's a good singable track. But so one of the things we were talking about, climbing glaciers, Donna Garten's going to run off into the mystic and have a great vacation. But for me, yeah, glaciers have become an intrinsic part of my being. They'll never stop. It's never going to stop. So I will share probably in chat privately some photos from that time that I haven't put in a post yet. But I'm actually going to play something off City Burials because I will be seeing Catatonia live in a couple weeks. They're coming through town. And Catatonia released a new track today. It's called Atrium. It's beautiful. It's incredibly beautiful. And I thought about putting it into tonight's show, but I ended up not, because City Burials is an incredible album that I did not spend enough time exploring with you guys. So I picked something off this album from 2020. I am going to play you a track, believe it or not, called City Glaciers, because here I am back to the grind, back in the city, back in the digital world, but my brain is still out there in the ice and the snow and that harsh frozen beauty. So sad sack, slower, lower, all that stuff we talked about tonight being, here it is. It's Catatonia on Full Force Radio. Yeah, there you go. I promised you guys we'd be a little more down-tempo tonight. Catatonia, an unbelievable band. I have been playing them for you since the very first year of Full Force Radio. Honestly, their full discography is excellent, but this new one, absolutely beautiful. Yeah, the words, their lyrics are always incredibly beautiful, but I mean, that track is stunning. Like, absolutely fucking stunning. Waiting for warmth, endless the days, an argent haze as the remedy flows into concealed veins. Where are we to run? Our season won't come, and everything you've said so far has been wrong. It's late in the evening here, and the wind is dying down. The lights are leaning. There's no more sound. Read my lips, love. Fill your lungs with words, lest we forget to explore. Bring back our revered dreams, our month of May. Memories leave my heart sore. White giants sleep along the roads of our dead-end tracks. In times as vile as these, I want us back. City glacier of sordid snow. Darkness comes in from the streets, glides back out again. My voice shifting ever so slow, and the prints of my fingers sing upon your skin. Whoo! So, yeah, good track. High five. Check out City Burials. But yes, I agree with Eileen. You cannot find a bad album in their discography. And one of the bests, in my opinion, City Burials is right up there. But The Fall of Hearts, mid-2000s, 20-something, 2014, 15, 16 in there. Spectacular. Spectacular album. Real fucking good, kids. And it does crack me up because we talk about like dumb instruments on this show a lot. And, you know, the times when Ron shows up and we talk about folk singing and banjo music and twing twang, good night, see you soon. You know, twing twang, banjo, cousin fucking music. The mouth harp is usually one of those things, you know, the twang, twang, twang. How can you have a gorgeous, beautiful love song, a melancholy track written about the death of the heart and how, you know, love blossoms in the spring and, you know, now that we have lost it, we are wandering through a city that is being eclipsed by cold slabs of ice moving at a glacial pace. Like, how can you have a track like that and in the background have somebody like, wow, 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 and you can still take it seriously. Like, honestly. I love you. Wow. True mastery. True mastery. All right. So looking at the time, we got about 40 minutes left in the show. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tracks that add up to 10, 20, 30, almost that much time. Because of course I do. Because I'm a disaster, god damn it. But you know what? That's what this show's all about. So I hope you guys are having a lot of fun. And I hope you are enjoying tonight's bizarre music mix. A lot of people often say, well, it's not real metal if it's not real hard and it's not real heavy. And you know what? Sometimes I agree and sometimes I do not. And tonight is a little more down tempo and a great mix. 𝖭𝖏𝖃 immediately throwing me under the bus. Thank you, sir. Thank you. So yeah, before the break, we were talking a little bit about AI and things like that, and I was telling you guys a little bit about how August Burns Red released the cover for their new album called 𝖍𝖊𝖆, and everybody hates it because it's AI. It looks low effort, it looks unfinished, and it's sad. It's a great concept, but it doesn't have the zhuzh to it. But one of the other things I saw today is AI generation. You know, we love to talk about it. It came up, and one of the things that you might find really interesting is that somebody in the 𝖊𝖏𝖆 subreddit, because Reddit is the source of all pain and misery on the internet, as well as a lot of cool things. There is a 𝖊𝖏𝖆 subreddit, and on the 𝖊𝖏𝖆 subreddit, somebody posted all of the members of 𝖊𝖏𝖆 if they were generated by AI, and they are nightmare fuel. So let me just quickly flip over again. So here you go. It's actually a 𝖊𝖕𝖆𝖆 oh gosh, this browser, I don't have ad blocker on this browser that I use for OBS. I gotta fix that. But so here you go. I will share this with you guys if you want to see it. Let me pop it in here. But if you're looking on the overlay, they are awful and terrifying. They're absolutely scary. But here is, if you describe every member of 𝖊𝖏𝖆 and describe them to an AI, and we're having an AI generate them, here are the masks that AI thinks that 𝖊𝖏𝖆 should wear. And I have to admit, this is awful. It's awful, and I don't like it. If you need a creature horror flick, if you need the next sequel to Pan's Labyrinth or whatever, there is some scary fucking shit in here. And this is the type of imagery that AI can handle real well. So there you go. Big spookums, kids. It's coming, it's happening, and lots of fun stuff can be made with it. I will say also, one of the sort of cool things that I found earlier, same thing, Metal Injection just talked about this because once somebody saw, ooh, AI generation, well, shit, I know what we're gonna do. Let's grab the lyrics from a song. Now that we've seen the 𝖊𝖏𝖆 added into, these sort of members generated by AI, what if we actually took all of the lyrics from one of their most popular songs and we had an AI interpret the lyrics to a 𝖊𝖏𝖆 song? And so this is making the rounds as well. I've linked the YouTube video. I'll put it, hopefully I'll remember to put it in the comments, or I'll actually create on the actual YouTube replay, I'll create a card so you can click over to it. But so here you go. Somebody called Hologram47 took Psychosocial, and for every line of the lyrics, they AI generated the imagery, and there is a music video that has been fully AI generated. And she's also terrifying, babes. This is another nightmare fuel bit of nonsense. So we'll flip over quickly and just, I'll share some of this with you. I'm not going to play 𝖊𝖏𝖆 Psychosocial because it will basically guarantee that I'm going to have to cut music out of this track. 1,000%. I will get hit with copyright stuff. But I mean, this is beautiful and terrifying. Somebody worked really hard on this. And this again comes back to, how do you understand putting prompts into an AI generating tool, and how do you get some of the terrifying feelings that comes from a song like Psychosocial and a band like 𝖊𝖏𝖆, and how do you kind of get an AI to internalize that and create art? Well, so here you go. If you want to check this out, it is something else. It is something else for sure. And I actually have to say, if we go back for a second, let's just go back to, look at this. This is amazing. A mammoth sort of mutant I don't know what. Yeah, like a woolly mammoth with a mutilated skull face made out of bracken and twigs. And I mean, that's pretty metal. I'm not going to lie. So there you go. AI generated Slipknot lyrics, since we were talking a little bit about AI in the metal scene. It's gonna expand. It's gonna get better. But for now, somebody worked real hard on this. Okay. So I played you guys City Glaciers by Katatonia. I do have more music for you guys. I have some stuff that's brand new, that's slightly sort of upbeat new metal. I have something from a band that I really, really like. They're a new discovery for me, a band called Freedom of Fear, a track that has sort of that same old school vibe to it. And I also have, of course, our final track for the night will be this Chemist track, because obviously this shirt came from somewhere. This design is based on one of their tracks off their newest album, 𝖍𝖊𝖆𝖆. And if I have time, I will try and fit in a band that I can't say the name of, I can't read the lyrics for, and that I don't know how to say the name of the song of. But I've played them for you before. And every time I'm like, no clue. So maybe we'll ask, if we have time, we'll ask Google. Maybe we'll ask one of the nice AIs from Google to tell us how to say the name. But in the meantime, we're also going to try and fit in the song that I started the whole show with in my intro, by a band called Lowrider. Now, this is a long track. Real talk. It's a long track, but I want to sneak it in here before we go up tempo again. Lowrider is this incredible band that are a sort of like, in the late 90s, there's a band called copious, and I've played them for you, and they were really part of this wave of like stoner rock, grungy psychedelia with a very stoner vibe. And really early on, if you guys remember way back when for Fullforce Radio, I actually did do a whole episode. There are a lot of bands that sing about marijuana. There are a lot of them. What can I say? But this band... Lowrider right there already kind of tells you what's going to go on. But so they've played at a bunch of sort of stoner-centric things. And if you see them, they look like a bunch of 70s hippies. But they produce this spectacular, melodic, fuzzy rock and roll that is everything. And marijuana... I was going to call you Jefferson Boyne. Clayton Jefferson Boyne. You will love this. Really, you will. So this is a pretty long track. If you guys are cool with it, then I'm cool with it. I'm going to play it for you because it is a great, great song. It's a great fit for tonight. And this is one of those bands that I think everybody will have a good time listening to, whether you care about the Devil's Lettuce or not. The sound, the fuzz, the production, the vibes, they're good. They're good. So let's do this. And it's an 11.5-minute long song. But you know what? This isn't traditional radio. This is Fullforce Radio. This is Crim on the internet, playing things that she likes. We can do whatever we want here, fam. And so we're going to do this. This is double four toms again. Yeah. Hi, new girl. Yes, that was a winner. Many of you surrendered to the vibes up in here. Yes. Mwah. Okay, bye. See you soon. All right. So there you go. A track called Pipe Rider, which is rude, especially on a show called #GentleTentacled. Oh, goodness gracious me. But yes, good vibes. So I will say, an 11-minute long song, just kind of, vibing in the background is one thing. But if you were here on Saturday for my annual spooky show, one of the things we do for Cyberbuzz is I will find a bunch of AR filters and, funny masks to wear because it's very digital. It's AI, it's AR, it's VR. It's a perfect fit. And Halloween costumes are fun. And so if you were here, at the end of the episode, I played Spooky Scary Skeletons, the Living Tombstone remix, because I play that all Halloween, every Halloween, without fail. It's tradition. And the last couple of years, the tradition for Cyberbuzz has been I put on a full body filter of a skeleton and then like Daft Punk dance it out. But the thing is the skeleton filter doesn't move a lot. And it's actually the like Snapcam's body tracking in this room because there's a lot going on in this room because they don't have sort of a plain background. It's very bad. So to get the skeleton to be like, what I have to do is like, and so for like 4 minutes, I was doing the most intense cardio workout of my life. But if you go back and watch the replay, the skeleton's just like, whatever. And so by the time I turned the song off and I came back to say goodbye, I was like, oh my God. So, you know what? 11 minutes of just vibing is fine. I can handle it. It's definitely my speed. Mosh pit can do it. Apparently piloting a fake skeleton, too hard for my fat ass. All right, so we have exactly half an hour left in the show. I have exactly 7, 5, 12. I'm bad at math. Girls are bad at math. 16, 20. I have 30. I have 25 minutes left in the show. I have 20 minutes worth of songs. I do a ton of cardio, which is hilarious. I run with the dogs. I climb. I hula hoop every day. But apparently this is intense cardio. What it tells me is I haven't been raving enough. And that's very true. I haven't gone to a rave in a long, long time. I'm classy. Mr. D, bless your fucking heart. Mr. D just got transported back like 30 years there. I've seen him in a cloud, in a halo of beautiful cigarette smoke, strumming a guitar. I could just I could picture Mr. D living right in those vibes. Oh, sorry, I thought it was 𝖍𝖎𝖏, but it's 𝖍𝖎𝖏 above Donegarden. But yes, I'm not classy. Bless your heart also. Bless everyone's heart. God bless us, everyone. But yeah, I do headbang, and my neck, my neck is very strong. Speaking of Cannibal Corpse in a couple weeks, I'm very excited. I'm going to be going to see Cannibal Corpse. It's sold out, 2 sold out shows back to back in Vancouver. I need to thicken up my neck like corpse grinder. It's going to be amazing. I can't wait. I'm going to die. Guys, I'm going to die. A++. I'm literally going to die. Last Saturday, yes, that was me. Abso-fucking-lutely. It's funny because the Halloween stuff half off after I was talking about buying all the useless Halloween crap and this, that, and the other thing. 1,000%. 1,000%. I took an image of of a piece of decor that was on sale. And I thought, boy, this looks like me at any given time. I'm like, this is me now that Halloween's over and I've used up all my energy and I'm exhausted. Let me see if I can find it for you guys. And then I never ended up posting it. But every part of me was like, yes, here I am. Vibes. Okay. So we're probably going to cut something out. There's no doubt. So I think what we'll do is we're going to save a fiction or Miss Burming. I'm not sure. No, we'll do the new metal. We'll put it out. Yeah, Georgia Peach. You're Peach. Listen. I have no defense. I am appropriating all of your coolest bits. I am collecting them and conglomerating them into myself. I'm basically like a hive mind, right? In fact, all of the things that I say that are fun and meaningful that make me a good radio host and an entertainer for you guys, I stole from you. That's why you like me. It's an old school trick. Try it out sometimes. #CrimTips. So while we're at it, I will say on after the Saturday show, I went to do some Halloween party stuff, and I ate a lot of mushrooms. And Saturday night was a blur for me. So everything, yeah, I am. I'm just an amalgamation of all the people that I fall in love with, which is all of you. I'm a mirror reflecting your true, wonderful selves back at you. Unless you don't like me, in which case, sorry about it. But yes, just a lot of mushrooms, got incredibly high, had a Delta 8, had a lovely vibes kind of night, except I'm pretty sure I did not look as delighted and happy as I just did during that last track. Halloween. I love being an adult. Okay, so while you guys are doing this sort of thing, I'm going to play this as a fiction track. And so I do like this band, and they are kind of like a pop nu metal crossover. So when we talk about melodic death metal, it used to mean a very specific thing. It used to basically mean like the Gothenburg sound, where you had traditional death metal, and then you sort of started combining it with epic and like operatic metal, and that was where melodic death metal was heading. Bands like Amorphous, bands like Insomnium. But then you have sort of the new kind of wave of melodic death metal and extreme metal, and it's bands like this, and they certainly have this edge of, I almost want to say pop. And they have this sort of more nu metal styled edge to them. And for some people, love it. For some people, hate it. But there's some really cool stuff going on in this area of death metal and this area of melodic death metal. So I'm going to play this a fiction track. It's brand new. I told you guys I wanted to get as much of this sort of new music stuck in your ears as you can. This was from the middle of October. I think it was released October 13th. So while I was just kind of getting back in the swing of things. So I'm going to do this. And we'll see what you guys think. It's brand new. It's called Roll the Dice. It's by A Fiction. And I suspect for some of you it'll be too light. For some of you it'll be too heavy. For some of you it'll be too poppy. And for some of you it'll be like, what the fuck is this? But we like to try all kinds here on the show. When we come back, we're going to play Freedom of Fear, and we're going to play a track by Chemist. And I should have just enough time to say goodbye on Full Force Radio.
Show every reason to be wrong, or you end up on your own. Closed eyes, so to pick your own vice while you dream of doing you, and you know, scream your rise. And you know, scream your rise. Pick a path, you can roll the dice, and open up your mind. Just don't let your heart decide. Feel it down your spine. No roads will lead you blind. So open up your eyes. Pick a path, you can roll the dice.
All right, there you go. New fiction. Yeah, it's fun. It's good. One of the things that I find with these sort of melon death bands that have this edge of like sort of new metal, rap metal, little bits of industrial, like this sort of death metal sound that is changing with what is what's sort of popular now. It's fun, and usually the breakdowns are everything. You'll get a little bit of sort of clean singing, and you'll be like, yay! And then ba-down, ba-down, ba-down. It's good. Feels good, man. So listen, we are getting real close to the end of the show. Not a whole lot of time left, but we were talking a little bit about bears in chat. Donna Garden's got black bears where he lives. Yeah, I'm in British Columbia. I live on the West Coast. Black bears are like everybody's fun little... everybody's fun backyard pet. Everybody here growing up camping, growing up hiking, just walking, like where I used to live, my house previous to this one, literally in the backyard. They come into the front yard, they get into your garbage. You're walking down by like the ballpark with your dog. Yeah. And in fact, I used to let my dogs off leash there all the time. And one time Murph went into a bush and I was walking along behind him, and I went to pet his butt because he's this little sort of brown black patch on his butt, and I could just see this little bit of fur, and I went like this, and it's like, oh, that's a bear, like Christ. So yeah, you just gotta you have to be respectful, but blackies here, no big deal, real common, just like everybody's big dogs that you don't want to mess with because you don't want to get them in trouble and you don't want them to be hurt. But yeah, spiders, I don't love spiders in that, when you're like laying in bed at night and you look up and you're like, ooh, spider on the ceiling. And then you kind of look away and then you look back and, oh, spider's gone. Like, don't love it, but I'm not terribly afraid of them. Overall, I have no problem with them. I would prefer they be outside. But if they're in the house and they catch stuff and they don't build a web somewhere where I need to be, that I, won't step on them or whatever, all right, no big deal. But that being said, there's something about these really flamboyant little spiders that are always like, yeah! They make themselves real big. They puff up. They wave at each other. They dance. It's the cutest fucking thing, honestly. How people can be afraid of them? They're adorable. Ridiculous. Okay, so I'm trying to keep my eye on my time here, babes. And I have 15 minutes and like 12 minutes of songs. Listen, I'm going to play you this Freedom of Fear track. This is a brand new album released called Carpathia. It was released on October 21st. I listened through the album. It's really, really good. And speaking of Australia and spiders, I saved this for the end. Little babies, you need this. I want to put this in your head. Speaking of females in bands, let's see what you guys think about this. I am shocked at how great this album is. And also, speaking about incredible covers that are oil painted and look real awesome, this has got everything. It's brand new Carpathia. Here you are, friends, on Full Force Radio. my gosh. Well, we're going to jump right into the last track. So here you go. I'll be back to say goodbye. This shirt, Chemist's Deceiver, a track called A Vernal Gate. Last track of the night. Oh, chemists. Oh, yes. So I was gonna get the things. But so, yeah, you know, when they say what are the names of the albums in this song, or I'm gonna quickly do this. Hold on. There we go. Or what we'll do is we'll flip over here, and then we will pull up this, and then we'll pull up this, and then we'll pull up this. So if we go down here, there you go. There you are. With unblind eyes, I see oblivion beyond the gate. I promised you guys a great track for the end of the night. There it is. Chemists. So a gentle tentacling was had by all. The title track of 𝖍𝖊𝖆 was gonna be the name of tonight's playlist, but #Gentacled it is. Brain bugs sucking the brains and eyes out of humans. Some delicious tentacles and creepy eyeball imagery. All that good stuff. Listen, we had a fun one tonight. It was a good one, fam. Well done, all of you. Welcome back. It's been so long. We are back in the swing of things. Full Force Radio is happening. I did get cut off in the Discord, but if you are still watching on one of the streams, this will be the end for you. So, with that being said, much love to all of you. I will be back next week. We are back on top of things. Fullforce.rocks is the website. MSP Waves is the radio station. And for many of you, I'm kind of working towards making the streams better and better and better and better. Backslides where they happen, forward slides all the time. And hopefully... Thank you, Novarani, but I'm actually literally just ending the show. Been going for 3 hours, but I'll be back. If you need to find out when the next show is, you need to find a place to like and subscribe and hang out. You can find the YouTube, the Twitch, the Theta, the Trova, the Vim, whatever it is that makes you happy. Go to fullforce.rocks. But otherwise, I will see you guys next week.